But what I want to do now is kind of, I want to talk about this fight coming up, and I want to get your kind of technical, detailed breakdown as much as we can get into it. Because I do find the technicalities, especially when it comes to, as it pertains to Conor as well, who for me is an extremely well-refined technical mixed martial artist. I think it's so interesting to kind of break down these fights and see, what the methods of victory are and where the advantages and disadvantages lie. So I suppose the first thing that I want to really talk about is the methods of victory for both Conor and then for Dustin. So if we're talking about Conor, first of all, how does he get the fight? How does he get the fight done? How does he get the win?
I think, I'll be completely honest. I actually, there's no point in doing both. I don't really see how Dustin wins the fight at all.
Okay.
I think it's I think it's the best possible fight for Conor. I just think that the both of their skills, the thing that both of them are good at is the same, and Conor's is far better. And I think that the people might say, oh, Dustin might try to wrestle. I think Conor out wrestles him. I think he out grapples him. I think, there's two ways Dustin wins a fight. One, he gets very lucky early with a big shot and puts Conor out. We've rarely even seen Conor phased by a punch. Something he does, again, something that he doesn't get a lot of credit for. We were speaking about his takedown defense. He has a really good chin. Really good chin. Yeah. And he pulls with punches, which is obviously a boxing thing. He pulls with the shot, so he never eats a full shot. And he's always done that. Always done that. And Dustin's like a brawler kind of style. It's not suited. I think it's again, we were saying about creating a character. If you were to pick the perfect fight for Conor, this is it. So the only factor might be, because the last fight was fairly quick, it's like southpaw, so it's a little bit awkward. But yeah, I just don't see it. I don't see it.
So what does Conor, from a technical perspective, what does Conor do to get to the victory?
I think he'll come out and he'll play that long, hands high and that long guard, with the hands out. Play with the lead hand a little bit. Start to back Dustin up. And I think he'll either back him up to the cage and piece him up a bit. It'll reset. He'll throw some kicks. That'll happen again, and then he'll get the range off that, and it'll be that. It's always the left anyway, isn't it? That left hand. Or he'll be doing it to Dustin, and Dustin will be like, I can't let him do this, and he'll try to rush him and he'll get clipped on the way in.
Yeah. Okay.
You might see a little bit of Dustin trying to push him against the cage, maybe, hoping that that's the answer. I think it's going to look very like the Eddie Alvarez fight. Very similar. Yeah.
That I find interesting. So then just to touch on Poirier, I know you said you don't really see any methods or how he can really get it done, but suppose let's touch then a little bit on, say, where Conor might be slightly vulnerable. Is there anywhere you see that Poirier could take advantage, or is there anything that, for example, Dan Hardy, I've been watching a few breakdowns, and Dan Hardy's obviously a very respected MMA fighter and analyst, has talked about the leg kicks, especially on the front leg. So it'd be the back leg for Poirier, on the front leg, on the kind of calf of McGregor, and the front leg kicks. So is that something that you see could maybe halt Conor or slow him down, make him kind of reset and offset him?
I think the problem with leg kicks is you take punches thrown them sometimes, unless you're trying to be. I really don't see it going that long for them to take a huge effect is the problem, and I haven't really seen Conor eat a lot of leg kicks in his career. I just want to check one thing here, because I said something there. I just want to make sure that Dustin Poirier. Where he has it, so he is so it's southpaw v southpaw.
So he's a southpaw.
Yeah. So his back leg will be going to the so he's better suited for throwing the leg kicks on Conor than most guys would have been.
Yeah.
But the counter sitting there for him, and the straight left is sitting there for him as he throws it. So like usually the counter for orthodox v orthodox is a straight right as they throw the leg kick, the straight right down the pipe. For southpaw v southpaw, it's a straight left, and it's literally the worst shot you can imagine taking from Conor because it's his best shot. So I don't know if that's the game plan for Poirier. I get the feeling they'll try to push him against the cage early, and I'd say this is their game plan, and it's probably his best chance of winning the fight is to drag it out to later rounds, make it dirty and scruffy and filthy, and you know, and this is his best chance of winning. I think if they get into a boxing match, he's going to get KO.
Yeah, it is, because I was trying to break it down as well. Obviously, more limited, obviously in terms of knowledge than you are, drastically. But
the fight takes place in your strongest round. They're both at their best is your strongest round. It's the boxing department, and you can clearly see the clinical difference between the two.
Definitely, and something that doesn't necessarily, well, I don't think gets mentioned enough. The biggest difference and the biggest asset to McGregor is actually his judgment of distance and his range control, which is literally why he's able to land his shots. Now he's very precise, and he's very powerful, and they're the kind of it's like what did Dan Hardy say? That's like the end of the spear. That's the spike at the end of the spear. But you know, the I suppose the shaft, the rest of it is kind of all the other stuff that allows him to get to that point. But yeah, I suppose
a lot of times he uses the kicks almost as like a masking agent to get into range.
Yeah, 100%.
And he come in then, and then the right, it'll be different with Dustin because southpaw v southpaw, but the right hand is touching the lead hand usually to find his range. You know, Conor's right hand be touching their lead hand to find his range on. Yeah,
no, his boxing in terms of in an MMA fight is very it's very sophisticated. Like, I like what he does. It's almost slightly Lomachenko-esque, if you like, the MMA version where he plays with the front hand, like you said there, and he kind of lures them into space where they think they're out of range, but they're not, and he's distracting with the lead hand, and then he walks them onto the big backhand.
He makes them skirt the cage a lot too, which is something we can do more in MMA than boxing, because now they can't move. You can't, because at least you can lean in boxing on the rope. There's no leaning now. You're at the end of your range. That's it. So now I know if you're in range, I can hit you. You know that kind of way?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he's very good at getting them to push in that direction, which is actually unorthodox for boxing, because normally a boxing coach would encourage you to move in the direction that Conor wants you to move. Normally you're trying to move away from the backhand, but he wants you to move away from the backhand because
and then he steps across.
And he very much overextends. Like there's weird little parts of his technique that would be questionable in a boxing sense, actually, but
but this is something we were saying, like his striking is much more suited to MMA. You know?
But it works, and I think as well in terms of like genetically and physiologically, it works for him. You know what I mean? Which is different thing. But let's get back to it a little bit. So I want to talk about, are there any weak points or kind of vulnerabilities that you do see in Conor, in a more of a general sense, even, because I know we've already kind of figured out that you don't really see Poirier having much of a chance here. So,
you know, like at times through his career, like his gas tank has been the thing that people have spoke about. You know, he seems to be working on that a lot more now. It's like it's hard to when you're knocking people out early, and then you have one long drawn out fight, and you're gassy, and people are like, but like, he hasn't had that kind of experience before. Do you get what I mean? You haven't been dragged into that before, and it's new to you. So you're going to be tired, whatever the situation. You need it. Like, this is the thing. Poirier should be on paper. It'll be interesting to see how Conor has approached his strength and conditioning and stuff for this fight. But Poirier on paper should be the better over 5 rounds. He's done it a lot more. He seems to like those drawn out, like slobber knocker kind of, you know, dirty fights. But if you watch his fights, he gets hit a lot, always, every fight.
He gets clattered. Like, did you watch that last one with Dan Hooker? I mean, it was
he'd be dead. Like that, he's unconscious against Conor.
You know? You can't take.
I just don't think he's just a like I don't want to sound bad. I don't rate him as highly as I do some other fighters in the UFC. I think I think he wins a lot of fights on will, which is impressive to me. I find that impressive. But like on a skill base, I don't rate him ridiculously high. You know.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
I think he's like a tough guy who'll get stuck in, and he's willing to take a few to give some back. And you know, he obviously can box a bit, box a bit. He can box well. He's just not on the same level. You know, that kind of way.
Yeah, I like what you said earlier on as well, that he has a very similar style to Conor, except a lot less refined, and just basically he's probably a few notches below him in terms of level, like for that style. But I suppose it's hard when you see it so one-sided. It's hard to kind of get too much into the technicalities, because
I spoke about this a lot, like in the lead up, because I've obviously been talking to people a lot, and I think a lot of people in MMA circles are kind of the same opinion. Like, I think the fight's there for Conor to lose. You know, that kind of way. It's like he should win this fight, and he should be impressive doing so. I think. I don't know what like improvements Dustin has really made since the first fight. They keep going on about them, but I haven't seen them. You know, he's just bigger. That's it. Like, he's at a different weight class is all. Like, he was fighting at 66. He's at 70 kg now. Conor's gone up as well. So he can probably take a little bit more punishment because he doesn't have as big a weight cut. But skill-wise, I think they're on a different stratosphere. Yeah. The problem with MMA is that doesn't always matter.
Yeah. Well, you're a lot more exposed. Like, I mean, you get clipped with those foreign gloves.
Big overhand right, and it's game over, you know. So there is always that opportunity, and this is what I was saying to the lads. We were chatting about it when we were training earlier, you know. And I was like he could walk in there and land one big shot, wobble the knees, and that's the whole fight gone. You know what I mean? That's it. But like, if we were playing top trumps and we're laying our cards out, one of them was way ahead of the other. You know?
Yeah. Definitely. So just to talk a little bit more about Conor from a technical skill set standpoint, not even necessarily in terms of the fight, but what I suppose I would have said, what are his advantages in the fight? But basically, what do you see as his absolute, like, if you can break it down for me as much as you can from a technical, from a coach's perspective, and from if you were teaching your boys like certain things and you were going, look at Conor for this, look at what he does there. What is it? Where do his advantages lie in terms of in MMA in general? Where is he so much better than, say, Poirier? You know what I mean, or anyone?
Yeah. So like I find with Conor, you tipped on him as well. His distance management is special, really special. He can like, he does it well. He backs people up a little bit too. He gets some moving on the back foot. So he kind of takes the center, but not in a bully kind of way. So Poirier tries to take it in a bully way. He tries to charge into the middle, control the middle, and throw big shots to make you back up. Conor slowly, incrementally makes you move backwards, but keeps you at his range at all times, or just out of his range, so he knows he can move into it. Playing with the lead hand and those little kind of side kicks to the leg, or, you know, these kind of little shots to find the range off. Then he'll either go in with like maybe a spinning kick or a high kick that kind of brings him right into range then.
Yeah,
you're usually close to the fence at this stage, and he starts trying to make you scared. So this is something we do a lot. I talk to the guys a lot about that distance management and the control and the high guard that he plays. You know, it's a very, like you said already, a very sophisticated style of striking.
Very much so.
But another thing is how calm he is the whole time. Very calm, very calm. Like, doesn't get drawn into a brawl ever. Like, you never see him like eat 3 to give 2 or something. You just never see that from Conor. You know, it's never there.
No. Another part,
you know, nice in and out movement. He has like, you know, he has that boxing style that we spoke about, and he has the in and out movement of like points karate, kind of bounces in and out, you know. So he's kind of always just out of range, and then pop, he's in, out. Oh, he's in now. And then he kind of starts to wear on you. And you see that in fights. He'll back them up there. Now you can see them get a bit tired. And there's nothing worse. We were saying before, he's done a little bit of training and maybe he's done some sparring. When you're on the back foot and you're kind of, you know, you can feel someone imposing on you. It's very tiring. And this is why guys swing bombs to make people move back. So they're like, it's easier than moving backwards all the time. Moving backwards is exhausting. You can't breathe. You can't get the opportunity to breathe how you want to breathe because you're always worried about the shot coming, you know? So, yeah.
You're not dictating what's happening. You're not.
Yes.
So, and that's what Conor does really well, is that he makes you worry about him.
Almost better than anyone else. Yeah. Better than anyone else.
Which is again something that doesn't get picked up, which is something I want to actually I didn't even write this down. I want to talk about this, which is, I find it very interesting. But I'm just going to, obviously, let's just finish up this kind of a breakdown as such. We know what Conor is really good at. Obviously, distance control is massive. His IQ in there and his management, as you said, kind of into positions. He's able to maneuver you around the ring really well. And obviously, he has that kind of life-ending power in the left hand.
Yeah, shot selection too. Picks the right shots at the right time. You know, 100%. He doesn't miss a lot. Doesn't miss a lot of punches. Yeah.
He doesn't waste a lot either, does he? As you say. So, you know, just give me a prediction to the as much as you can to the T. Like, what do you think? As in the minute.
All right.
I'm going to make it hard for you because we already know who you think is going to win the fight. So, you know, I want to make it a bit more difficult for you.
I think he does them in 4 minutes.
4 minutes. Okay. Yeah.
That's better for Dustin this time. I'm giving him improvements. You know what I mean?
You're giving him almost a couple of minutes, a minute and a half or something.
I think 4 minutes. I think he does them early. I think he comes out, pressures him. Dustin, I think, like I was saying, Dustin will either move back. I think Dustin will come forward then, walk onto some shots, then start to back off, and then that'll be kind of, you know. But I think the first 2 minutes, not a lot will happen. Maybe Dustin closes distance and tries to press him against cage. Conor breaks and then starts to pressure him. But yeah, I think it's about 4 minutes in.
Okay, interesting. Let's see.